Good morning, everyone. This is Lori Delk-Radecki with the Nashville Networking Group. We do these live and in person 5 times a month, as well as every single Tuesday right here on Zoom. So if you're not on our email list and you would like to be, go to nashvillenetworkinggroup.com. You can also find our groups on Meetup, Facebook, and LinkedIn, and join our groups to find out who our speakers is and where we're meeting each week. So we have a 10 to 15 minute speaker who talks to us about different tips, tricks, ideas, things that can help us both in our personal as well as our business life to help get us to that next level. After that, we go around the room and everyone has 1 minute to give us your name, what you do for a living, and how we can better refer other people to you. So we're going to go ahead and get started. So our speaker today is Miss Barbara Mason. So please give her your attention.
Thanks, Lori. Hey, I'm excited to share with you guys today. And so I'll just do a quick intro. My name is Barbara Mason. I am an HR consultant, and I help small business owners hire, grow, and retain their talent. And so my background, I have 20 years of HR experience working for Fortune 500 companies. So I tell people I don't just play HR on TV. I'm a real life HR person. So the topic that I wanted to talk about today was around employees versus contractors. Everybody here has their own business, and I know that this sometimes can be a little tricky to navigate. So what I want to kind of go through is tell you, again, why do people use contractors versus employees? I'm going to tell you the proper way to classify and give you 7 points to kind of consider as you're thinking through if you have somebody on your team to make sure that you're classifying them the right way, right? And so the first thing is people always ask, should I have an employee or a contractor? And I'll tell you that most small business owners start with a contractor, one, because it seems fairly easy, right? You find somebody to do something, you don't have to pay them when you don't have work. And so easy street, right? The thing about it is that if you're not treating them like a contractor and you're treating them like an employee, you could get into some really big trouble and be penalized and fined, right? Because when you have a contractor, you're not paying taxes on them, right? You're not paying FICA, you're not paying employee tax and all of that. And the IRS doesn't like that, right? So a lot of people will use that as a way to kind of get around, but I'll tell you that there are so many laws that are even on the books right now that's making it even more stringent to have a contractor. And there's certain tests that you have to meet. So just for those that are, are here, let me just see a show of hands. Do you guys have contractors in your business? If you do, just kind of raise your, okay, I see a couple. Do any of you have employees? Okay, so no employees. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the differences between a contractor versus employee. So there's 7 things, and there's tons more, but I kind of hit the 7 high level, most important things. And so I'm just going to refer to my notes. And so one of the things that you want to think about is who is directing the work when you have a contractor versus employee. So if you bring a contractor onto your team, normally they should be someone who is specialized in a certain profession, right? So think about if you had a physical office and you brought in an outside cleaning company. That is a contractor, right? They're not an employee of yours. They're not on your books. And so we'll just kind of use that as an example, right? And so who is directing the work? As the employer and you have a contractor, you just want your building clean, right? But you don't tell them what supplies to use. You don't tell them what time to show up, nor do you direct how they do it, right? You don't say, hey, I want you to clean the kitchen first, then the break room. You hire them to clean your building. They clean it and they leave, right? And so you are not directing the work. And so in a situation very similar in your business, if you have a contractor, you should not be directing their work, meaning directing how the work gets done, directing when it gets done. You are only responsible for the result of the work, not how it gets done. So that's number 1. The second thing is you want to think about who is providing the training for this situation, right? Again, if they're an employee, as the employer, you should provide the training on how to get things done. If they are a contractor, you should not be providing training, right? Because again, a contractor is coming with their own expertise, right? And so just like I'm a contractor for small businesses. They don't tell me how to do HR. It's what I do, right? So I bring that to the table. And so in your businesses, whether you're in real estate, construction, marketing, sales, whatever business you have, if you have a contractor, they should be doing their own training. They should already know how to do the job that you've hired them for. The third point is who is setting the workers' hours again. And so I'm giving you the points of how you pass the test, whether it's an employee or contractor. So when it comes to setting the hours, again, as an employee, if you hire somebody as an employee, you say, be here at 8, your lunch break's at 11, you get off at 5, right? With the contractor, you do not dictate the time of the day that they work. You don't give them a schedule. You don't say, hey, I need you here by 9, because again, they're directing their own work. So again, with your cleaning crew, you may say, hey, the office closes down at 5. I want the building clean every night, right? But you don't say, be here at 7 and be done by 9, right? And so again, thinking about who sets the hours. The fourth thing to think about is who is setting the rate of pay, right? So with the contractor, again, they should be giving you, this is what I charge for this project. This is what I charge for this particular task. So think about if you hire a graphic designer or a marketing expert to do some social media marketing for you. They may say something like, for me to post 3 times a day, or 3 times a week on 3 different platforms, it's $100 a month, right? So they're setting the rate. Versus as an employee, if I hire a marketing assistant, that's a W-2 employee, then I'm going to set the rate of pay and say, I'm going to pay you $10 an hour. Is that making sense so far? Mm-hmm. Okay. Number 5 is this, does the worker have to request time off? This is a big one. And again, it gets really tricky because when you have a contractor, especially if you've worked with them for a long period of time, you start to kind of mold them into your team and they become like family. And it's very easy to start blurring the lines, right? And so in terms of time off, again, as a contractor, they can work from anywhere at any time, right? They don't have to say, hey, Lori, I need to be off on Monday the 18th because I have a doctor's appointment. That's not the way that works. An employee does that, not a contractor, okay? Number 6 is this, who provides the tools and the supplies to get the job done? As an employer, if you have a contractor working for you, you should not be providing their supplies, their tools. They should not be working in your building on your office computer. They should not be using your tools to clean the building or vacuum the building. Like, it needs to be their own supplies, because that's one of the ways that you separate between, again, a contractor versus an employee, right? And so again, when I work with my clients as an HR consultant, I bring the software that I need. I bring the tools that I need. They don't provide that for me, right? Because I'm a contractor, I'm not an employee of their business. And then number 7 is this, and which is really important, is does the worker offer their services to the public? So as a contractor, remember, they should have their own business and they have several clients, right? So they may do marketing for you. They may do marketing for the lawn guy across the street. They may do marketing for the cleaners down the, in another state. They do work for the public versus an employee is working for you. Okay. And so that's one of the things to think about. Now I want to kind of give you some things to think about when you have a contractor. Here are the 3 things that you need to make sure that you do. When you hire a contractor, number 1, make sure you have them sign an independent contractor agreement. That agreement is a legal document that you can use. And this, again, I'm talking about when you're using contractors within the United States. So let me say that, because there are different rules if you're hiring people that's outside of the United States. So 1, have them sign an independent contractor agreement. That agreement states that they're being paid as a contractor, this is the rate that they're going to be paid, and that they are responsible for all of their taxes, their insurances, and all of that. It's just a very simple way to make sure that you have documentation that both parties know that they are a contractor. The second thing is when you bring them on, you want to have them sign a W-9 form. That is the form that's going to allow you to give them a 1099 at the end of the year. And so that's the third thing, is that if you have a contractor, if they are making more than $600 from you, from your services, then you have to provide them a 1099 at the end of the year. So those are the three things you want to make sure that you have in place when you bring them on. Have them sign an independent contractor agreement, have them sign and complete a W-9 so that you have their information, and then make sure that you send them a 1099 at the end of the tax year. So those are the things that make sure that if you have people working in your team that you're not violating. And again, when I say the laws are getting way more stringent, I know that I think it was Sharon that said she's originally from California. If you think that it's stringent in the other 49 states, you know that it's even doubly more stringent in California, right? Because California definitely favors the employer, the employee and not the employer, right? And so there was a law that was recently passed that's actually held up right now. It was supposed to take effect in March, but right now it's still being reviewed. But if that law goes all the way through, again, it's going to make it even more stringent to where they are saying that the person that you hire as a contractor cannot do work that is the primary function of your business, right? So for example, in my business, I'm an HR consultant. If I hired another contract, let's say HR coordinator as a contractor, if that law were to pass, I would not be able to do that because they're doing a core function of my business. I would have to bring them on as an employee, right? And so if you have questions, I'm definitely open to answering them, or make sure that you always consult with your employment lawyer if you have one on retainer. So that's what I wanted to kind of share. Hopefully that helps and it gives you something to think about in your business as you're growing and building your team. So thanks, Lori, for the opportunity.
Awesome. Thank you so much. So if you are watching us live online right now, join us for our live in-person meetings every single Friday, as well as the third Thursday each week or each month on NashvilleNetworkingGroup.com. Also, meet us with us each week right here live on Zoom every Tuesday. This ends our live recorded portion, so you have to meet with us to get the rest of the meeting and meet with everyone. Talk to you soon, everyone. Thank you.